Welcome, astrology friends. I'm Kim, and this is the Art of the Chart. I'm so happy you're here. So you've likely heard other astrologers talk about the rare and powerful astrological configuration forming in the sky around July 20th, 2026, a pattern sometimes called a Barbault Basket. This formation is especially striking because it brings together four major planets at the same degree: Pluto in Aquarius, Jupiter in Leo, Neptune in Aries, and Uranus in Gemini. Jupiter's presence in the same degree in this basket apparently has not happened in recorded astrological history. My intention today is to bring the meaning of these planets, their signs and aspects together, and further merge them with the Sabian symbol system. If you're not familiar, the Sabian symbols are 360 evocative images, one for each degree of the zodiac, developed in 1925 by astrologer Mark Edmund Jones and clairvoyant Elise Wheeler. I find them useful because they add a poetic and intuitive dimension to astrology, helping us feel into the deeper story behind a planetary pattern, which is why I want to bring them into this Barbault basket. When we look at the symbols for this configuration, a powerful story begins to emerge. The main tension in this basket is Jupiter in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is transforming collective systems, technology, social movements, networks, communities, and our ideas about the future. Jupiter in Leo expands creativity, leadership, visibility, performance, and the desire to shine. So this opposition asks, how does individual greatness serve collective evolution? Or, in a shadow, when does leadership become ego? When does vision become domination? When does creative confidence become grandiosity? But this opposition is supported by Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini, forming a web of sextiles and trines. This gives the whole pattern momentum, inspiration, innovation, and speed, because this is a fire-air configuration. It moves through ideas, language, courage, media, technology, imagination, and creative leadership. Its gift is acceleration. Its danger is that things may move faster than our body's ethics or wisdom can integrate. Let's begin with Pluto in Aquarius at 5 degrees. The Sabian symbol is a council of ancestors is seen implementing the efforts of a young leader. Pluto reveals what is hidden. It exposes power, shadow, buried truth, trauma, and the deeper forces shaping collective evolution. In Aquarius, Pluto is transforming our systems, our technologies, our communities, and our visions of the future. But this Sabian symbol reminds us that the future does not come from nowhere. The future is built from the past, a council of ancestors. It's suggesting lineage, inherited wisdom, ancestral memory, and collective patterns that still live beneath the surface. And with the efforts of a young leader, will we see a young person rise with new ideas to be implemented for the evolution of humanity? At its highest, Pluto here offers ancestral intelligence. It asks us to listen deeply to what came before, not to repeat it unconsciously, but to understand it. In shadow, it can reveal inherited systems of control, disguised as progress. So Pluto in Aquarius is asking, what from the past needs to be honored? What needs to be healed? And what must finally be released so the future can be free? Now let's look at Jupiter in opposition in Leo at 5 degrees. The Sabian symbol is rock formations tower over a deep canyon. Jupiter expands whatever it touches. In Leo, it expands creatively, creativity, confidence, heart, visibility, performance, teaching, and leadership. But this symbol is not about quick applause or superficial recognition. It is an image of geological time. Rock formations towering over a canyon suggest endurance, pressure, majesty, perspective, and forces much larger than the personal ego. So Jupiter in Leo at this degree asks for creative leadership rooted in humility. Yes, Leo wants to shine. Yes, Jupiter wants to grow. Yes, there may be a powerful desire to create something bold and visible. But the canyon reminds us the soul is deeper than performance. The world is older than ambition. True greatness is measured not only by attention, but by endurance, integrity, and depth. At its highest, Jupiter in Leo here supports noble leadership, creative generosity, and heart-centered expression. In shadow, it can become spectacle, ego inflation, or the need to be seen as special without doing the deeper work. So Jupiter asks, what are you creating that can stand the test of time? So next, we have Neptune in Aries at 5 degrees. The Sabian symbol is a triangle with wings. Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, compassion, imagination, longing, and transcendence. Aries is the sign of beginnings, courage, instinct, action, and individual will. So Neptune in Aries can symbolize inspired action, mystical courage, and the spiritual pioneer. But it can also blur the line between true inspiration and impulsive fantasy. The symbol, a triangle with wings, is perfect for this placement. The triangle gives form. The wings give flight. The triangle suggests structure, sacred geometry, and intention. The wings suggest aspiration, imagination, and spiritual ascent. So Neptune in Aries asks, can your courage be guided by higher vision? Not reaction, not ego, not simply the thrill of beginning, but inspired action. At its highest, this is sacred courage, the willingness to act on behalf of something larger than the separate self. In shadow, it can become spiritualized aggression, savior fantasies, crusading idealism, or leaping before there is enough grounding. So Neptune asks, is this action truly inspired, or is it an escape from uncertainty? And then finally, we have Uranus in Gemini at 5 degrees. The Sabian symbol is a revolutionary magazine asking for action. Uranus is awakening, disruption, innovation, rebellion, liberation, shock, and breakthrough. Gemini rules language, media, writing, teaching, learning, information, nervous systems, and the way ideas travel. So Uranus in Gemini is already a signature of radical communication. And this Sabian symbol makes it almost literal. This is the headline, the announcement, the message that disrupts the old conversation. The idea that shocks people awake. At its highest, Uranus in Gemini at this degree is liberating truth. It is the courage to say what has not been said. It is new language that helps consciousness evolve. In shadow, it can become sensationalization, misinformation, mental overstimulation, or disruption for its own sake. So Uranus asks, are your words awakening consciousness or merely provoking reaction? Okay, now let's integrate these aspects. The heart of the basket is Jupiter opposite Pluto. Jupiter in Aquarius says, transform the system. Jupiter in Leo says, create, lead, shine. The tension is between the collective and the individual, between systematic change and personal expression, between ancestral accountability and creative visibility. But both Sabian symbols are ancient. Pluto gives us the council of ancestors. Jupiter gives us rock formations over a deep canyon. Both speak of time, memory, endurance, and forces larger than the ego. So the opposition asks, what kind of leadership is worthy of the future? Not the loudest leader, not the most charismatic leader, not the one with the biggest audience, but the one who understands the canyon, the one who listens to the ancestors, the one who knows that visibility is not the same as wisdom. The supportive aspects help this opposition become more creative and visionary. Pluto sextile Neptune suggests that ancestral power supports spiritual renewal. The Council of Ancestors gives grounding to the triangle with wings. The new vision needs roots. Pluto trine Uranus suggests that buried truths can find new language. The Council of Ancestors meets the radical magazine. Hidden histories, collective patterns, and suppressed truths may suddenly become visible, communicable, or impossible to ignore. Neptune sextile Uranus links spiritual imagination with radical communication. The triangle with wings becomes the idea that flies. The vision finds a voice. Jupiter trine Neptune brings creative faith, artistic inspiration, and spiritual courage. The canyon receives wings. Something ancient and majestic is lifted into vision. Jupiter sextile Uranus brings breakthrough. The artist, teacher, leader, or messenger finds a new way to communicate something bold, fresh, and culturally alive. So there is tremendous creative and visionary potential in this configuration. But the shadow is also real. With so much fire and air, the energy can become inflated, ideological, reactive, or ungrounded. A radical message can spread before it has been tested. A spiritual vision can become a fantasy. A leader can mistake visibility for wisdom. A collective movement can use the past to justify power instead of healing it. So discernment is essential. The highest expression of this Barbault basket is visionary leadership rooted in ancestral wisdom, creative courage, radical truth-telling, and collective transformation. The shadow expression is inflated leaders, viral misinformation, spiritualized ego, and collective movements that weaponize history instead of learning from it. This astrology is not simply about innovation. It is about right relationship with time itself. The past is speaking. The future is calling. The present is where we choose. So as we approach this configuration, we might ask, what ancestral wisdom is trying to speak through me? What old pattern am I being asked to transform? What radical truth needs a clearer voice? What creative work wants to be built, not just for attention, but for endurance? And maybe most importantly, how can I participate in the future without abandoning the depth of the past? Because this basket does not say, forget what came before, what it is saying to the collective is, bring the wisdom forward. Compost the distortion. Create from the heart. Speak with courage. And let the future grow roots. If you'd like help understanding your own chart on a deeper level and how Barbault's basket is speaking through your personal astrology, I offer evolutionary astrology readings where we explore your life path, your patterns, and what's calling you forward. I hope to see you soon, and you'll find links below for more information and how to book at kimpowellart.com. Wishing all of you much peace and love.